From the front page of the Yonkers Statesman, December 1st, 1916. Headline: 15-day ordinance declared invalid. Judge Beal finds it to be unconstitutional and void. City Judge Joseph H. Beal today handed down a decision in which he holds that the 15-day ordinance, so-called, requiring 15 days' experience in Yonkers before a man can act as one of a crew of a trolley car, is invalid. Louis Schwamm, who hailed from New York City, worked for the Yonkers Railroad Company as a motorman, and his arrest as a violator of the ordinance on complaint of Samuel Hoey, president of the Trolleymen's Union, followed. At the trial, the evidence showed that Schwamm actually had a day's experience on Yonkers lines. The law being invalid, Schwamm's conviction became impossible, as there can be no violation of a law when the law itself is invalid. Judge Beal said, "In passing upon that matter, the question of the reasonableness of the provisions is to be taken into consideration by the court. Nothing is reasonable which threatens a community with ruin, and in connection with that phase of the matter, it is right that the court should take judicial notice of conditions that have existed in the city for a number of months as a result of the trolleyman strike. The practical paralysis of the means of transportation for long periods of time, the discomfort and inconvenience that have resulted, the accidents to life and limb and property, the peril and expense of the child on its way to school and the laborer to his work, the grave and serious injury to all forms of business, the deadening effect upon and the irreparable loss to all holdings of real estate, the necessary withdrawal of the police from the ordinary avenues of their work, and most of all, the nationwide blot upon the fame and reputation of this city which is ineffaceable. I refer to these matters not with respect to the merits of the controversy between the striking employees of the Yonkers Railroad Company and the railway, for as to that the court is without knowledge and is not concerned." Headline: Women to call on Congress. Anti-suffragists to ask members not to tinker with Constitution. Arrangements have been completed for the National Convention of Women Opposed to Women's Suffrage, that is to open the countrywide campaign of education on the question of amending the federal Constitution to permit women's suffrage. The convention will be held in Washington during the first week of the short session of Congress opening December 7th in the National Theater. The delegates will include prominent women from every state in the Union, and among the speakers will be men of national importance. During the convention, the delegations from the different states will call upon the congressmen in their respective districts to urge them to vote against the amendment to the federal Constitution to grant the vote to women, should it be brought up at the present short session. The amendment to the federal Constitution is opposed on the ground that it would deny the voters of the various states the right to pass upon the qualifications of electors in their own states, as constitutional amendments do not go to the voters for ratification, but became effective if the legislature of 3/4 of the states approved them. Headline: Auto damaged in runaway. Patrolman Villain stopped a runaway horse at the corner of Elm Street and Palisade Avenue at 5:10 p.m. Wednesday. The animal, which was attached to a wagon, had been in charge of an employee of the Yonkers Electric Light and Power Company. The horse ran into Elm Street from Columbus Place and came in contact with an automobile. A mudguard and a headlight on the car were damaged. And that's the news from Yonkers 100 years ago today.